this project you will need one black bag. We got ours at H&M for pretty cheap, and this one opens up and it'll be really easy to attach the flowers. You will need about 5 yards of rosette strips, which come in a pack like this wrapped on a card, but when you take them out they are silky and soft, and they are sewn onto a netting which we're going to cut off. You'll also be needing iron-on rhinestone strips and your handy-dandy glue gun. The first step is to take your silk rosette strips, which come by the yard, and like I said you need 5 yards, and they come on this netting here, which we're just going to go ahead and cut off. All you do is get pretty close to the rosette and simply cut around, all the way around the rose. Until you get to the end. Now we've pre-cut most of ours, but I just wanted to show you how we get the netting off. It's okay to have a little bit left on the outside. They'll just be a lot easier to work with if there's not extra netting on the side. Now I'm going to pull one of my rosette strips, which we pre-cut the mesh off of the side, and we're going to get ready to glue it down on the bag. I'm going to start from the bottom, and you can see the bottom seam of the bag. We're going to try to go right along the bottom seam there. And all you're going to need is your glue gun. I'm actually going to start from the other side because I'm right. Now on this bag, we see that we really only need about 6 rosettes. So I'm going to go ahead and just snip it. It'll be easier to work with. So now we've got our 6 rosettes all ready to go. I'm going to start with the first one on the bottom corner by just placing some glue in the middle. And then we're going to go ahead and just set that right down on the bag and hold for a second. Now you guys should know glue gun dries pretty fast, so we're just going to keep going by putting a circle dab of glue. We're going to just simply place them here on the bag, make sure that they fit in nicely. See how many we need, which I'm looking and I see that we need about 7 on this side. I'm just going to go with an extra one just to be safe, because we could always just glue it over to the other side. So we'll start in the corner again. This is where our clasp is for the bag, so I'm going to leave the extra space and we'll test it out later, and we could always add rosettes later. So here we're just going to leave this spot blank just for now so we can see how it works out. And we'll just start right up again on the other side. If you use too much glue, it might make the rosettes get a little bit harder, so if you really want the softer feel, then try not to use too much, but you do want it to stick, so it's kind of a happy medium that you gotta find, but you'll find it. Now here is the finished first area of the bag. This is just the front, and you can already see how pretty it's going to be. It's got a really nice, just soft, elegant look to it. So let's keep going. Now that we finished the front, we are going to start up on the back. The back, we're just going to lay out flat like this to make sure that we get full coverage. Now before we even start on the back side, I want to make sure that we're covered on the bottom. So I'm going to take a 6-piece strip and I'm going to glue it down onto the bottom here. Okay, now it's time to move on from the bottom to the back. So I'm going to lay out the rosette strip and measure. Now I'm going to add an extra half a rosette on each side because we're going to fold it over. We want to overlap on the other side just to make sure that we have complete coverage. So this comes out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been about 6 or 7 the whole time. And then we'll go ahead and add our circle of glue. And we'll start on the side there. Hold it down for a sec. Moving on. So now that most of the back is covered, we're going to do one more strip because you want to make sure that you have room for your rhinestone trim. Now this is going to be the embellishment part right here. But we'll put that aside for now because we have one more row to add. but I just want to keep in mind that we've got to keep this space clear. So I've pre-cut my rosettes to go along, and we're just going to, just as before, do the same old glue them on it. Okay, there we go. So now let's just pull all the strings. I don't know if you can see them, but you know what I'm talking about if you've used a glue gun before. You want to pull them all out. And there is the back of your bag. So once you're done gluing all the rosettes down, just go through and see if there's any little odds and ends that need to be cut off. They almost look cute there because they're very silky and soft and they feel nice on the hands. And then what we're going to do is close up our bag to make sure that we covered everything. We like the look of it, which we love. It's amazing. And now we have to move on to the rhinestone strip. So these come by the yard. They are iron-on, so if you do buy a yard and you're only using a little bit of it, then you can always iron it onto your jeans or your clothes or whatever. It's super easy to iron it on. You just place a pressing cloth and iron it right on. But since there is glue on the back of the trim, we're going to glue gun over it, and the heat is going to activate the glue there, which then in turn is going to make it stick even better. So I'm going to measure my strip to go right along here across my bag. And then I'm just going to cut. It's always okay to leave an extra little bit because you could always cut it off, but I think one strip is going to do just fine, just like that. So, easy as pie. We'll just do this in one whoop. I'm going to start by placing the glue right on the bag, just in a little line. And then I'm going to place the strip over and hold. Now I just want to make sure that the end dries before I continue because we want to make sure that we get a straight line. Okay, so now that the side is down, I'm going to just go with a line of glue all along the bottom. Not all along, about halfway. And then I'm going to carefully place the strip to make sure that it's straight. Hold for a sec. Now since it has that that glue on the other side for the iron-on capability, it sticks even faster and even nicer, and it's a guarantee stay. I think this bag that we were inspired by, the Valentino bag, retailed for somewhere around $5,000. Now this bag, I believe we bought at H&M for about $10, and the strips are pretty cheap. We'd have to check on the site, but you need 5 yards, and it's definitely a lot cheaper than the Valentino version. Okay, so now our strip is on good. Now we got pretty good coverage on the back of the bag, but just in case you didn't, we had some extra rosettes lying around, so you can just cut them into single pieces, place a little glue on the back, and if you're feeling like there's not enough coverage, then just go ahead and stick it right on top. We'll just do a couple. I only really see one spot that we missed, maybe 2. Make sure to get enough glue on there. I'm just going to stick it right on. So now we've got a couple extras here and there. And last step, but not least, is to put the chain back on our bag. So I'm going to open it up. And your bag may not have this part of it, but if you get the same one that we did, which is again from H&M, then it's super easy. We're just going to clip it right on. And you could use this as a clutch or as a shoulder bag. And if you use it as a clutch, you could always use this chain for other DIY projects. There's a little knot in it, but that's okay. And voila!
Hi, thanks for joining us today on DIY4TV. Today's tutorial was on the Valentino inspired rosette clutch, which is made of silk rosettes and rhinestone trim, and it is just absolutely so soft and delicious, and we love it. It's just to die for, and it's really, really easy to make. Only takes about 20 minutes, so we hope that you enjoy trying out the tutorial, and we'll see you next time.